Alimodian it's a farming community. And most of my unfading memories of Alimodian were probably the years before electricity, before electrification. So that would be before 1975, maybe around the age of between 3 and 12, no? So grade school years. I remember the old house it was a nipa and bamboo hut, and then you enter it through a silong. And the silong is where you keep all the rice, the palay, and farm produce. That's where you keep the fruits and where they ripen. And then I remember the first level is you have a tiny sala and dining area, and right next to it is the kitchen, and then there's a step up to the bedrooms, and then we had that outhouse. Well, soon after they constructed the yung mas modern na bahay. So siguro mga around when I was in grade 5 na or grade 6. So yung na siya, yung meron ng terrace. This is where yung most of the boys would usually sleep kasi kapag summer vacation punong-puno yung bahay you have your uncles and cousins there. So the boys would be relegated to the terrace. Nagkakasya-kasya kami natutulog. It was fun, no? My grandfather was a farmer. And then I remember every day we would be forced to wake up very early, no? Kasi you're being initiated into the daily routines of farm life. So the boys would wake up very early. We would go up the hill and gather firewood and other farm produce. My lolo has this fantastic memory. He would know, punta kayo dito sa ganitong area kasi may hinog na yung langka doon. Kunin nyo. O dito, yung saging, malapit na, putulin nyo, iuwi nyo na. No, yung ganon. So, yun yung aming chore every morning, no? And then when we get back home, nag-uunahan kami yung doon sa mag-rake ng palay. Kasi kung hindi ka nagre-rake ng palay, ikaw yung mag-chop ng firewood You would dry yung constantly raking it para turn them over to dry. Tapos they're spread on mats on the street, spread on bamboo mats. Tapos nandun lang siya sa kalye, no? So that's the chore. And then lunchtime, and then after lunch it's free time na, no? You're free to do whatever you want. So yung games and mostly games, and then we would go and visit the old folks. Pagbabahay-bahay kami. Kasi halos sigurado, pag pinuntahan mo yung mga kamag-anak mo doon, pag uwi mo, meron kang pasalubong. More often, it's chocolate. Kasi halos lahat ng bahay din, meron sila sariling yung cacao trees. No? So they make their own chocolates. No? And endemic sa area namin yung tsokolate. So that was the childhood in Alimodian. And we go there every summer. I also learned the language, no? Yung salita namin doon for most of Iloilo it's Hiligaynon, but yung spoken language in our hometown it's Kinaraya, no? Mas malalim siya, mas older. It's very near na Antique where Kinaraya is the spoken language. The prime difference this time around, kasi yung last time, no, I used to play here, no. Naghukay ako ng sarili kong play. This time around, I actually asked my dad, no, who's in the province, to send me clay from there. So this is Alimodian clay from mostly from yung termite mounds dun sa sa farm. So, and you will notice also if you look closely, of course there will be, kasi gumamit ako ng gold leaf, meron mga stray ng gold leaf, but if you look close enough, you will see na na parang may mga deposits ng pyrite, no, doon sa sa surface ng clay. So it's a different kind of clay. Also, Well, yung ano, syempre yung paggamit mo ng ano ng clay from there, ano yung parang ano, it's a tactile connection to the place, no? To my hometown. Mas may ano siya, mas may emotional resonance, no? I guess, no? Kasi yung clay galing doon. Another difference is this time, ano from the clay that I got here, I had to process it. I had to add ano yung bentonite, no? To resolve yung ano issue ng plasticity. But this time, I used the clay from our place, from our hometown, pure, no, in its pure form. Nilinis ko lang siya. Pero wala na akong masyado dinagdag. Except for ano little sand just for the texture. Pero it's ano it's almost pure ano yung clay from there. What this does is ano I literally allowed it to crack on its own. No. I still did the second firing to create carbonization. But mas control this time kasi parang pinili ko na kung where I want the carbonization to appear, no? So yung areas na ano na walang carbonization, minamask ko siya, no? Tinatakpan ko siya, gumamit ako ng ano ng mixture ng ano ng calcium carbonate, no? To mask the areas that I don't want the carbonization to appear. So yung mas controlled na ngayon. That's another difference from last time. Also, syempre yung paggamit ko ng ng additional na coloration, ano. The white is I made my own parang enamel, no. It's like my own enamel paint, no. Using organic varnish, calcium carbonate, and a little titanium white. All materials na na ginagamit din ng mga potters. Yun, physically yun yung yung main difference dun sa Yun yung difference dun sa from the process last time. It's the act of piecing them together, and yun yung kasama doon sa process, piecing together these memories. It's like it's a conversation with my child's self on what these images that he has collected. Yung memory naman can be parang a clutter of interwoven scenes and images, di ba? And we never question their accuracy, doubt if they really happen the way we remember them, until, of course, someone who was present questions its veracity. As old as hills is I lifted that from the book of Job, no. And this is significant for me because Alimodian was named after Alimodias, which is a plant, no, yung Job's tears, no. Tapos yung fruit ng plants na to, parang seeds, they're used to make rosaries, rosaryo. So medyo significant yung paggamit ko ng title na yun, paglift ko ng title na yun from the book of Job. And in our province, the more famous pilgrimage site during Quaresma is this hill, no, we call it Agony Hill, no. Andun kasi yung Stations of the Cross. Okay. And I remember I bruised my knee. I scraped my knee kasi nadulas ako eh. Ngayon it's easier kasi may kalye na, it's easier to climb. But back then when I was a child, it's hard going up the hill, no. And then these are the pieces na kwento sa akin ng one of my uncles. Before it was parang may mga outcrops lang ng mga bato. Now may may mga tableau ng sculptures, no, for each station. May ilang stations lang din na na parang stuck in my head, no. For some reason, hindi yung buong 14 stations. Ilan lang yung yung was kept in my memory. The first is the Garden of Gethsemane, no, which is the first piece there, yung para siyang tree stump, parang olive tree stump, where I carved the name of Jesus in Hebrew. Then the second station that struck me was of course yung the betrayal of Judas, no? The despair of Judas. And then the three-headed roosters, that's it's a symbol for the denial of Peter. No? It's resting on a bowl with the images of the Sanhedrin around. That's another Jewish yung there's the ones who judge Jesus, no. Tapos Pontius Pilate, of course, diba? The washing of the hands. But what's significant to me dun sa story was how his wife tried to persuade him not to crucify Christ, no. That's why naglagay ako ng icon ng saint. And she's unnamed, no. Nakalagay lang the wife of Pontius Pilate. No? But she's celebrated as a saint, no. And then of course the broken pillar, it's a symbol of a life cut short, no? Also yung reference to scourging at the pillar, no? Also, what struck me also yung scene ng yung women crying, the women of Jerusalem. That's the next image, no? And then finally, not so much yung resurrection, but yung that scene when Jesus was when Jesus forgave one of the thieves, no? And then even promised him paradise. But that struck me also, no? As a child, parang wow. So kumbaga yun lang yung pili na stations na remained in my my childhood memory. The invocations of yung childhood memory, but syempre coming from an adult mind, na siya, reconfigured na, you know. Nung panahon na yon, walang kuryente, no? So ang isa sa mga favorite pastime mo would be to listen to storytellers, no? That's also yung the piece, the raconteur, no? The storyteller. You know, the kids would gather around whoever is telling the story. And very significant also is yung after dinner time na na you gather around the radio, because that's where yun yung source of entertainment nyo, no? Yung makinig ng mga drama, makinig ng mga adventure stories over the radio. Yun yung bubon, no? Yun yung bubon for the well. Yun yung the well of imagination, no? Kasi everything is playing in your head, no? And it's so auditory lang, no? So you're imagining all these characters, the aswang, the giant, capre, the ghouls, the goblins, the tikbalang. Pero itong mga characters na to, hindi siya malevolent sa akin, no? Kasi it's a source of entertainment, no? Kaya yung depiction ko, hindi rin siya mukhang nakakatakot, no? I made the tikbalang female, tas mayroong baby tikbalang beside her. The aswang, hindi siya gory, no? Even the capre looks friendly, no? And of course, meron pa rin mga ibang characters diyan, yung the crone, no? May old lady there with the walking stick. And then I added the female protagonist on horseback. There's always somebody on a horse, no? Just to kasi masaya yung sound effect nung dalawang bamboo shells na na parang yung sound ng kabayo The Santo Niño is it's a symbol of hope, di ba? It's adopted by Catholics from all walks, no? From the fish vendor to the beauty parlor, from the jeepney driver to the wealthy businessman, babaguhin mo lang yung damit, no? It's a symbol of hope because the child is a symbol of new beginnings. So in our family, we also adopted. Meron kaming Santo Niño na yung umiikot, so this year nasa bahay namin, next year nandun sa bahay na it's an antique Santo Niño, umiikot-ikot lang siya. Sa bahay ng tiyuhin ko, another tiyuhin. So, and then babalik na naman sa amin. And since I come from generations of farmers, hence the Carabao skull. It's a family crest that we adopted, no? The Carabao with the Santo Niño on top. I actually made a Carabao, pero not a skull, no, an actual Carabao with the Santo Niño on top, and then may mga puno ng saging at saka coconut yung aming crop noon. And it's there in the old house, no. Gumawa talaga ako ng actual relief na na parang crest. No. Actually, my lola, yung direct lola ko is my lola Coro eh. But when I finish this piece, actually look more like my lola Patro, from my dad's first cousin side. Mas kamukha ni lola Patro o ni lola Paz eh. Marami akong lolas. Sa probinsya ganun eh, di ba? Ganyan sila kumis eh, di ba? Sa probinsya, yung the mouth, the lips are puckered inwards. Parang it's like a sign of modesty, And it's not so much a kiss as a sniff eh. Diba? It's more a sniff eh, parang trying to record your scent, no? Which was of course in those days more sweaty and sun-drenched. Kasi palagi kami naglalaro sa kalye, no? Pero ganun yung yun yung lola kiss eh. It's like that eh. So it's very heartwarming also eh, yung the idea na you're being sniffed. Sa probinsya, palaging maririnig mo mga comment parang yung ba tong parang napaka-idle naman itong mga tao na to, giinuman na lang ng tuba. Yung tanghaling-tanghali nagtutuba. What you don't realize is these people are awake by 5 o'clock, 4:30 a.m., no? And by lunchtime, all the chores in the farm are already done. Tapos na trabaho nila. So ito pahinga na to, no? Ang tuba kasi, you drink it best kapag medyo fresh ka pa eh, no? Kapag pinaabot mo ng hapon yung yung iba na yung lasa, no? Almost always noontime 'yan, no? Pagkatapos ng kumain ng lunch, bago pa yung tuba, iniinom na 'yan, no? Kaya diretso na kaagad sa nap. Aantukin ka kasi kumain ka, tapos iinom ka ng tuba, tapos tulog na. Tapos na trabaho eh, no? So ito yung mga mukha ng mga tao na na I tried to depict. So may maingay, may galit, no, may contemplative, may inaantok. Yun yung mga mukha din sa paligid ng jar. There was an old Tuko presidence in the ceiling of the old house eh. It used to scare me. Every time I hear the sound. But I remember my lolo once told me that it was good luck if the old gecko up there were to fall on your head. Of course, as a little child, it didn't give me any comfort. Takot pa rin ako doon sa tuko. No, pero yun, andun pa rin siya. Ilang generations na ng tuko. Andun pa rin sa sa bahay. Well, yung scapular, it's a common sight eh, no. When I was a child, my lolas and aunties, they all wear that eh, no. For devout Catholics, I suppose, no. The scapular, it's an object that parang displays piety eh, no? Parang also it carries with it a promise of indulgence eh, di ba? Yung parang yung sinasabi nila na na if you wear it, may kasamang promise siya na na if something happens to you, no, God forbid, may promise siya na the punishment for that your soul will undergo in the afterlife will be lessened eh. that's ano eh, parang part of ano eh. That's the indulgence in wearing the scapular. But I depicted it as a doorway, no? Through and through. So two doorways, no? So it's a doorway that you enter, and then pagpasok mo doon sa sculpture, you're engulfed in darkness, no? And then there's another doorway that you pass through into the light, no? At nilagyan ko ng ano ng lining ng gold around, no? Doon sa ano sa edge, sa side. Kasi in religious iconography, yung gold represents divinity, you know, or something sacred. That's why I used gold. Ang ano naman, religion naman kasi ano eh, I don't know. I said this once before during another interview long time ago. It becomes a need. You know, religion becomes a need when it is due. Where we are now in where we've been in distress for nearly 2 years. It has ravaged our mental health. And in moments like that, I'm not a religious person, no. I'm not. Pero after reading that report, parang it's a question of is it a question of faith or is it a question of faith? No. Yung what's happening to us now. I mean, who do we go to, no? You have scientists arguing amongst themselves, doctors arguing amongst themselves. And while all of these crazy things happening, yung parang it's damaging the mental health of a lot of people, no, who are already depressed or already in distress. In whom do we trust? No, parang ganun eh. Parang ganun yung so parang it was driving me back to well, yes, this exercise, no, yung going back to that that moment in time. Also, parang kailangan ko yung that kind of spirituality, yung gano'n. Na pwede kong where I can escape to. Kaya siguro lumabas ng mga works na to. Yung orasyon, for example, no? Yung the ritual brings comfort to some as well, the Angelus reminds the faithful of the birth of the Savior, no? But considering the present context, to a person who is depressed or who's mentally ailing, it can seem like a countdown, no? Yung tolling of the bells. It's like dividing a day into beginning, middle, and then finally end. I went through something like that, similar. Parang it's and I realized na yung what condition you're in affects your perception, no? So the tolling of the bell sa orasyon can be comforting, but at the same time, if you're in a different set of mind, it can be depressing also. Parang ganun yung nangyari sa akin dun sa while I was doing that piece. If you're very religious, the times are testing your faith. And for a person like myself na hindi masyadong religious, no, it's even more perplexing. At least yung mga devout people have some place to to go to, no. So as I said, it becomes a need when it is due, and then at that time it was a need, no. It became a need for me. religion became a need for me at that time. It became due at that time. I need this. Yung ganon. I need this. Parang ganon nangyari. Especially after reading that report from Rappler. No, yung that triggered the depression. You know, can you imagine 26% rise in suicide rate? No? Going back to that time when it was easier. It was easier to be religious. Parang and trying to recover that inner sanctum, I guess, no? It's the nearest. Yun yung sanctuary ng ng mga devout, no? Yung mga pious, no? That's where they go to kapag pagka they're troubled. And once upon a time, I had that, no? Once upon a time, I was that person. The title is Invocation. So, yes. It's some sort of a prayer. Nagmumula sa isang from an adult mind now. So, it's more for the comfort, the feeling of comfort that I get from it. The process certainly is meditative, no? Kasi yung may pagbabalik Hindi mo naman magagawa yung kung wala ka sa tamang tamang frame of mind no? O magagawa mo man pero hindi siya malalim Yung trying to recall, hindi lang yung image kundi yung yung feeling, yung emotion associated with it. That needs a deeper meditative act to actually feel that emotion. In a way, yun din yung parang naging journey ko dito sa sa mga works na to Di ba? It was a journey inwards Parang in a way para siyang quest. No? Para siyang quest. Of course, yung iba na yung perspective, no? The pieces are reconfigured, no? Yung from the mind now of an adult. So, yun. Pero yun nga, it was it helped me. It helped me a lot, in that process, that journey. And I got parang kudos from a few relatives who so, and they were very happy na parang nilagay ko sa art map yung pangalan ng Alimodian. So, I'm glad. If only for that, masaya.